I'm here with Congresswoman Lee, and we're in the city of San Fernando, which is where you were born and raised. This is where, I guess, where you were born. You spent a lot of time in Texas as well, but it's like coming home.
Yeah, I was born and raised actually in El Paso, Texas, in an immigrant community in border town, and we moved to California, to San Fernando, primarily because the public schools were the best public schools in the country. And so I went to San Fernando Junior High, San Fernando High School, and I wanted to be a cheerleader. And the reason I came back today is so important because there was a selection process for girl cheerleaders, and I didn't meet that criteria for the selection. So I really forced the school to change that into an election with the help of the NAACP. And so they changed the process. We disrupted and dismantled that selection process and had an election. Guess what? I won. I was
First election you ever won, huh?
First election at 15 years old. Yeah, I was the first black cheerleader at San Fernando High School. But the story and the importance of it today is that I was able to change the rules of the game so that more black and brown girls could be elected cheerleaders.
Let's talk about this election. You're running to be the next senator from the great state of California. You're a familiar face to the people that watch us and for the people of California. You're popular here, as are your two Democratic opponents, Representative Schiff and Representative Porter. When they see the three of you, I think you all represent perhaps something similar to them, but I know you feel like you are the differentiator in this race. Why?
There are more differences between myself and the other candidates than similarities. Our voting records may be similar in some respects, but when you look at leadership, for example, when you look at someone who has led on foreign policy and national security issues, Barbara Lee, myself, has led. I voted against the authorization to use military force, which set the stage with President Bush and subsequent presidents for forever wars. And that was wrong to vote for that authorization that really there was no military solution. It took away Congress's constitutional responsibility to declare or authorize war. Fast forward to now. I have called for a permanent ceasefire because I know that we have to make sure that there's a ceasefire to release the hostages. I condemn the Hamas attacks. Israel deserves to be secure, and what is taking place is counterproductive to Israel's security, and in fact, it's a humanitarian catastrophe. And so we have to have our country lead for a political and diplomatic solution, because like in right after 9/11, I said it was going to escalate out of control, and it did. And I say now it's escalating out of control. It's coming, broadening into a regional war, and the United States is more embroiled. So we have to have a permanent ceasefire. That's a big different point of view, I would say. And then finally, I'll just say, when you look at representation in a democracy, representation matters. The perspective and the lens and the experience of black women has been missing. Since 1789, there have been 3 black women serving a total of 10 years. And so for a democracy to really work, you need everyone at the table. You need a perspective, the lens, the experience. And I've led on so many issues when it comes to reproductive freedom, ending the Hyde Amendment, when it comes to auditing the Pentagon. The Pentagon had never been audited. Scamming the taxpayer, waste, fraud, and abuse. I led with Republicans to get the Pentagon audited. And guess what? It's flunked 6 audits. So it's important leadership and experience.
This campaign has become contentious on the Democratic side. Your fellow candidate, Katie Porter, says Adam Schiff is running a cynical campaign trying to boost the Republican into the top 2 primary here. Do you agree with her?
Well, let me just say that's a sinister kind of strategy. But for me, I'm running a campaign with my endorsers, Gen Z for Change, Dolores Huerta. We have 6 out of the 8 constitutional officers. Our revolution, remember, Bernie Sanders won. He beat our president, Joe Biden, by 10 points in California, okay? They've endorsed me, and we're doing our GOTV and targeting voters. Working Families Party, when you look at reproductive freedom for all, when you look at the people power, the multi-generational, multi-ethnic, progressive coalition that we put together, it's about getting people to the polls. And we've been phone banking for the last 6 weeks. We've been targeting our votes. We're chasing ballots now. We're making sure that our voters get to the poll. That's what elections about. And finally, I'll just say there's a clear difference between myself and the other 2 candidates. Lived experience is important, but not important just as personal experiences, but how I've been able to see people who live below the poverty line and work to make sure the child tax credit is passed and made permanent. Work to grow the middle class by addressing poverty, which nobody else in this campaign has done. I established the Poverty and Opportunity Task Force. When you look at the fact that I represent the views and the aspirations and the dreams of so many Californians. 20 million, one paycheck away from poverty. I want to make life better for every single Californian, and that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm doing.
A lot of the people that you described as supporters of yours have expressed concerns about President Biden's ability to win in November against President Trump. You share those concerns?
One is, if people vote, President Biden will win. Secondly, we cannot allow Donald Trump, who wants to establish an autocratic government, to win as this next president. He wants to dismantle democracy. Next, when you look at my history and what I've done, I called for Donald Trump to be impeached in 2017. Just in this race, I was the first candidate who called for his impeachment. He is a danger to our national security. He's a danger to our international security and our international national security. And so it's really important that the public and our voters understand that, one, the Biden-Harris administration has delivered in terms of economic growth, in terms of good-paying jobs, in terms of climate initiatives. A long way to go, of course, but we have to finish the job. But in no way should a Donald Trump, who wants to disrupt, dismantle, and destroy this democracy, be reelected. Voters are smarter than that, and I'm confident the voters are not going to vote for Donald Trump.
And Congresswoman Lee, great to see you here. Good to be in San Fernando, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.